Regroup, Refocus podcast with your host, life coach Jeff Relaford. This podcast is designed for those who wish to change their inner self in order to maximize outward potential. So come redirect, regroup, and refocus with your number one life coach, Jeff Relaford.
What's going on, y'all? Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Redirect, Regroup, Refocus podcast with your boy, life coach Jeff Relaford. We took a little week off. We had a lot we were doing, a lot of different things going on. So I took a week off, That happens from time to time and now and again, we do that. But we have lives, people. We are people and we have lives. So I'm just grateful and glad y'all could respect my time, as also I respect yours as well. So listen, man, listen. The title of this episode is called The Karmic Cycle. And I wonder if y'all have actually heard in particular of the karmic cycle. It's one of those things that we all kind of go through all the time, but you know how it goes, y'all. We just don't define a lot of the things that we go through. So I'm going to talk about it today. And I'm going to tell you how it's going to affect not just yourself, but myself and each and every one of us in our lives. So let's get to it, man. I'm going to tell y'all what the karmic cycle is. The karmic cycle is a repetitious pattern of events, emotions, or realizations that occur in life. It appears in your life as an opportunity to break negative cycles and subsequently reap great wisdom. Okay. So, excuse me. You know how it goes, people, when we sit up here and we say that you put yourself through different patterns. You put yourself through different things that go on in your life. And it's just a result of the actions that you bring to the table, whether negative or positive. So this is what the karmic cycle is in layman's terms, or just in terms that I can put it in without a book definition. It's just repetitious events, such as your emotions, events or different things that go on in your life that are repetitious, but you're supposed to learn from it. Okay. You're supposed to learn from it. So in turn, you don't make the same mistake twice. Now, with that being said, a lot of us have made mistakes twice. We've made mistakes more than one time. Some of us, we keep hitting our head, on the concrete, right? That's what we keep doing. So when we hit ourselves on the head with the concrete, we just bash and bash and bash. It's because we are in a repetitive cycle. We're in a repetitive state. So, Life Coach Jeff, what do I do to change my patterns while I'm in my karmic cycle? Okay, what do I do in order to change my perspective? The thing is this, people, like I said, we're all going through our own karmic cycle. This is our cycles, so to speak. This is every day when we live our lives, right? Every day when we live our lives. So the thing is, it's up to you to decide, first of all, whether the actions that you are going through are positive and negative. And I'll tell you why this is the first part of this, because when you identify the actions that you're going through, whether they're positive or negative, now you're able to put some type of label on something, right? So you have to put a label on what it is that you're doing. And the label is either going to be one of these two things. It's either going to be positive or negative. Okay. So you have to make sure that you assess the value of the cycles or the situations that you're going through. Once again, positive or negative. Okay. And like I said, you need to assess, because you need to know what you're dealing with head on. Okay. You got to know what you're dealing with head on. Let me tell you this. When people go through, let's say like you have an invention. We'll use somebody like Steve Jobs, for instance. Steve Jobs, whenever he invented something, right? Whenever he tried to make Apple better, he had to assess. He had to know what he was looking at. And what did he look at? He looked at his past creation, right? He looked at his past creations in order to evolve Apple as time went on. You know what I mean? So you look at the karmic cycle as you are your product, right? You. Inwardly, internally, you are your own product. And what you do is you're constantly assessing. It could be once a week. It could be once a month. It could be a few times out the year. It's all up to you. But you have to keep assessing what you have. Keep assessing and looking at who you are as a person. And then once you assess, now you have to attack. Okay. Now the attack should be planned. So now that you've looked at what you're dealing with within yourself, because once again, you've looked at how these cycles affect you positive or negatively. Now that you put the label on it, now you're going to ask yourself, okay, am I going to keep doing this positive thing? I would hope that we all, I would hope people that we all keep doing the positive thing. You know what I mean? That's what we strive for. That's what we look for. So keep doing the positive thing. But if it's negative, ask yourself, what can I do to break this cycle? Okay? You ask yourself, what can I do in particular to break this cycle or thought pattern or process? Okay? Because you got to remember, the reason why we keep going through the same individual things all the time is because we haven't changed the process. We haven't changed the order in which we do things. Sometimes you could tweak one aspect of your life, just one aspect of your life, and it can change your whole perception for the rest of your life. Okay. So that's what I want you all to do with those negative aspects when applying the karmic cycle to your life. And once again, for people who are just listening or you might have tuned in, we're talking about the karmic cycle today. And we talked about what it is. It's the repetitious pattern of events, emotions, or realizations, okay, that occur in your life. And it appears in your life as an opportunity to break negative cycles and subsequently reap great wisdom. Okay. So now, like I said, you're going to assess first, right? Whether your situations are positive and negative. Now you're going to attack it. You have to plan it. You have to look at if you're going to change your negative aspects or keep positive aspects. Like I said earlier, I would hope you all would keep positivity around. Always keep that around. Okay. I like to just say it like this: a mind that's rested on God is a mind at peace. Once again, y'all know what it is, people. I believe in God. Y'all know what I do. So that's what I use to stay grounded. And it helps me out. But whatever helps you out in order to keep your peace, in order to keep your positivity, follow that and keep that around and weed out that negativity. Okay? Weed out that negativity. So once again, you assess positive and negative, and you plan whether you want to keep the things with you or release them. And then finally, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up learning. Okay. Now, that's where the great wisdom comes into play. You have to look at every situation in your life, okay, as a learning experience, people. Okay. You have to. My man, Adrikis, man, I thank you for liking and viewing, man. I appreciate you, brother. Hey, I'm trying to go ahead and give some good stuff to the people. I appreciate you, man. As I saw you, I want to give you a shout out. But yes, you have to learn. You have to learn. So once you learn, you have to reap wisdom from it. Okay? There's a biblical principle that I love. Wisdom is a principal thing. And in all thy getting, get understanding. You have to know what you're looking at and get wisdom from it. Stay on it, man. Just stay on it. I don't care if you learn a couple things from what you're looking at. I don't care if you learn something that's not worth something to somebody else. Learn from your constant and repetitive actions in life. Because, like I told you all, we are all going through our own karmic cycle or cycles. We always do the same repetitive movements and actions every day that bring or strike different emotions, different opinions, and just different ways of life when it comes to how each and every one of us individually move, right? So why wouldn't you want to learn from that in order to be a better you? There it is, people. I'm telling you, because when I was looking at this karmic cycle, I was actually looking at a few laws. I saw this video where it was talking about different laws. It's a law of attraction, okay? Law of oh my gosh, what was it? The law of equal exchange, which I thought was very good. And these are things that when you start looking at law of attraction, law of equal exchange, and the karmic cycle, these are things that you apply to your life, and you see how each and every one of them individually affects you. And real quick, let's talk about law of equal exchange. I want to not deviate, but I want to just talk about that real fast, because we're all living in our own cycle, karmic cycles, when it comes to the law of equal exchange, right? The law of equal exchange pretty much states that if you're going to go ahead and exchange something with somebody, you have to be sure and make sure that it has equal value to what it is that you're bringing to the table. So it's kind of like this. I play dollars and cents game with it. So if I'm going to give you $5, right? I'm not going to give you five and you gonna give me one back in return, right? It has to be equal. If we're gonna do a $5 exchange, $5 exchange, guess what? You didn't lose anything. Okay. But it's in perspective and how you gain. Okay. So with the information or anything that's being exchanged, it has to be of equal value, okay, to what you're given. Okay. So you take a look at that and you see how the law of equal exchange plays a role into your life. So what I do is how it plays a role into my life. What I look for is I look for people, right? If I can give them information, I look for them in turn to give me information. Now, I'm going to tell you this. You never want to close off information, because all information does is open up the door to a learning experience. Okay. Now, that's one thing we need to know heavily, people. Information always opens up a door for you to learn more. So you never want to close off information. Never. And this is why I love the law of equal exchange, because if you actually view information as all learning, you'll never be in excess. You'll never have over the amount of information. You'll always have enough. You'll always have enough. And it's another law out there, people, that actually states that you always have resources around you all the time. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even checking the comments. Oh, what's up, Adriana? How you doing, Adi? What's good? What's up, Ashley? Right? I'm glad y'all watching. I'm glad y'all listening. What's up, cuz? I'm just sitting up here talking and rambling. I forgot that I could look at the comments and everything like that, y'all. I'm just doing my thing out here, just being life coach Jeff. But yeah, when we're looking at that law of equal exchange, you have to always remember, like I said, keep that door of information open. Because if you keep the door of information open, you'll always never be in lack. And like I said earlier, there's another law that states that you have all the resources around you, okay, to do what it is that you're doing in life. It's all about your perception and how you choose to move within it. I'm telling you, y'all, like we always have two choices. I always say we have just two choices in life. We have a positive choice and a negative choice. Now, there's a in between, but the thing is, when we're indifferent, real talk, the only decision that we're making is just not to move at all. So for some people, that will be a negative choice. Some people, that would be a positive choice. I think if I'm indifferent, I'm not making a move. To me, that's a negative choice, because I wouldn't know the impact, a greater impact that it could have on me, unless I took a chance to move on to another step. Does that make sense, people? Because if you remain stagnant, okay, if you remain stagnant with how you move, what tends to happen, being stagnant, it doesn't harbor any type of greatness that can come from it. Stagnation harbors no greatness. Movement harbors some type of stability and some type of foundation for you to actually walk on, right? So if you develop something that provides a foundation for you to stand on, to walk on, and to gain some traction with, you're at least starting. And then you assess the positive and negative thought process of that. You got to. There's no turning away from it. It's always going to meet you right at the door where you're at. With any situation that we do in this life, this is why, once again, I titled this The Karmic Cycle, because we have to realize that there are events that we do every single day that we go through as people. And we just have to make the assessment of how we want to move and how we want to change. Because I always say it all the time, people, change is something that's inevitable and it's going to happen. And it's still up to you to see whether it's going to be a positive or negative change. And be in tune with your emotions when it comes to these things. I know we live in a society, people, where a lot of times we say, oh, we don't want to be over emotional. And I just did a podcast episode a couple weeks ago telling you to stay out of your emotions. But what that meant was stop letting your emotions control your actions and your decisions. You can always do things and have a logical response to it. You know what I mean? So when you let your emotions run you, sometimes we tend to go left when we should be going right. So you want to make sure that you're making a wise, logical decision. So that's what I meant by staying out of your emotions. But learn how your actions can exude an emotional response from what it is that you're doing. That is what I mean by being in tune with your emotions. When you are in tune with your emotions, what's up, Nicole? What's going on, girl? What's up? Thank you for tuning in, sister. I appreciate it. And you have to be in tune with your emotions. So it's okay to actually do that. But we have to learn as a people what it actually means to be in tune with our emotions and moving in emotions. So when you look at it, that's one of the best ways for you to exhibit some type of growth and change. Okay. I'm telling you, people, just because somebody makes you mad, that doesn't mean that you have to fight them. Just because somebody makes you upset or angry, that doesn't mean that you have to give them attitude back, right? All you got to do is look at how something is affecting you and use it as, once again, the karmic cycle is a learning experience. It's once you go through the cycle, you have to make sure you use each and every situation to gain wisdom. If you are not living your life to gain wisdom from it, it is going to be very tough for you to grow in the areas of life that you wish to grow in. Let's be real. We all have things that we struggle with all the time, right? And that's just the reality of it. If you could point me to somebody who's here on this earth right now that's perfect, I'm gonna sit here and wait. Let me see. No comment. Nobody wrote nothing. Okay, there it is. Because we don't know anybody who's perfect in this world. We all have something. So I really hope that each and every one of you today that was listening, and I appreciate all of you that listen, and oh, that's right. Oh, Adriana, that was a good one. Breaking the generational curses, releasing them and learn from them to have better lives. Understand why they are in your past to make better path choices. Now, that's a whole word right there. That's a whole episode right there. Okay, people? That's a whole episode right there. Y'all look at that comment that Adriana Godina has made. That's amazing. Sis, that's beautiful. That's good stuff. And that's what it's about. You got to break the chain and break the cycle somewhere. You have to be willing to do that. And that means getting down to the nitty gritty. That means getting down deep with it. That means it's going to be ugly sometimes down there. It's going to be ugly. Everything ain't always pretty. Roses, rainbows, and unicorns down there when you're actually assessing things in your karmic cycle. It's never that way. But one thing that you want to strive to do is, once again, you want to strive to come out better than what you did before. So all I'm asking people is that you go ahead, you take a look at some of that ugly. Take a look at some of that gooiness, some of that ickiness, some of that dirtiness that we all possess inside of us, that we all have inside of us. Accept it. Oh, yeah, it's not. There we go. It's not easy, but not impossible. Thank you. Come on now. Let some people hear that, because we live a life where people will say that things are too hard. And when people will say that things are too hard, they will give up. And that is where that thought of impossibility comes into play. Hard doesn't mean that it's impossible. Hard just means that it's harder for you to get through that obstacle because it's the first time that you've either presented yourself with it, right? Or it's the first time that you didn't even present it to yourself. It's maybe the first time that somebody looked at it and told you something about you that you didn't even know. That's why it's hard. Either way it goes, we're exhibiting it for the first time. And that's another thing I want you all to take from this as well. First time experiences are not bad experiences. I know. Now listen, I know with me saying that, right? I know with me saying that, some of y'all probably looking like, what do you mean? First time experience is not bad experience. But I want to challenge you because your experience is about perception and perspective. Perception and perspective. If you learn to take the good out of everything that you do, your experiences can't be bad ones. They can only be learning experiences. So why would you not be able to find positivity in your learning experience? So go ahead. There we go. I think we had 20 minutes. I don't want to exert anything that I'm saying or over exude anything. We're going to leave it right at that. Take your karmic cycle, look at it, and always make sure that you are changing and switching that thought process to something positive. But assess your karmic cycle. Like I said, you want to assess your karmic cycle, then you want to attack, right? And then while you're attacking, be sure that you're learning. And what I mean by attacking is you're just taking those steps to make sure that what you're looking at is correct. And then you pull away the chunks that you can learn from it later on. So, all right, y'all, we're going to end it now. I really appreciate you all for listening. Thank you. If you're just catching the back end, go ahead and watch the replay. I appreciate it, y'all. Remember, this your boy, Life Coach Jeff. Redirect, regroup, refocus. I love y'all. Peace out. Thank you for listening and tuning in to the Redirect, Regroup, Refocus podcast. We do thank you and appreciate and value you as a listener. Now, I would like to just throw in, please follow us on social media. You can follow us on Instagram as Redirect, Regroup, Refocus, and also Life Coach Jeff Relaford. You can also find me on Facebook as Jeff Relaford. That's my personal page. Go ahead, give me a follow there. I always put up some good inspirational content. And also the business page, Redirect, Regroup, Refocus on Facebook as well. So, all right, you all, thank you for tuning in. And next week, we will be here again. Remember, Redirect, Regroup, Refocus. I love y'all. Peace out.